Bon dia. Good morning, everyone. Could you write down? Okay. The topic of my presentation is challenges in fire safety in a society facing a rapidly aging population. Rapidly aging population is really one of very crucial issues in Japan. I think maybe in Brazil, this kind of problem is rather not so serious, but as I told you later, that this problem is really serious in Japan. However, there's some good aspect as well. You can see there's some elderly who start self-riding at the age of 65 and older. So now old generation is getting better in physical condition. It's a good news. In Japan and many developed countries, the rapidly aging society is very common. And it is one of the most crucial issues from the viewpoint of health, social welfare, safety, community, along with public finance. Barrier-free evacuation together with the improvement in accessibility of disabled people in public buildings is becoming more and more important as society ages. As the Brazil experienced, Japan is welcoming the 2020 Olympic game and the Paralympic game. So then this issue is also very important in this sense. On the other hand, fire deaths are most likely to occur in residential occupancies. And most of these victims are disaster vulnerable people and aged peoples. In recent decades, therefore, the attention to disaster vulnerable population in residential occupancies and nursing care homes has become an important challenging issue and called big social concerns in Japan. This slide shows transition of aged population ratio of 65 and older from 1950 to 2050. Now, this line is just a date today. So, sorry, the before this 2017 is a real record, and the latter half is, of course, the forecast. But as you see, the Japan used to be very similar to the world average in just shortly after the World War II, 1950. However, during these 65 years, our line, red line, is very steeply moving, increasing up, and now we are almost the top on the world. Economical situation and many others in Japan now in the not top. China is much more than Japan, but only this index, Japan is still number one. However, these other countries, Sweden, France, Australia, US, are also increasing, but more moderate to compare with Japan. And I put in the Brazil one, like this. Sorry, this is a Brazil. Your country is much lower than we are, but nowadays it's just as the world average. However, in upcoming 3 decades, your age population ratio will be going up very quickly to follow Japan curve. But at this moment, you are very safe. Uh, some of you knows population pyramid. So if we put the number of population by age from a 0 age to up to the 100, left male, right female, so the shape is very similar to the pyramidal shape. In 1950, just shortly after the World War II in Japan, shape is really pyramidal. And I belong to the baby boomer generation. I was born in 1948 here. So I belong to this generation, to just bottom of the pyramid. 20 years later, shape is a little slightly changed, but still our generation is the largest. 1990, we are top, and now it's almost very close to now. It's still our generation is the largest population in that. But the shape is no more pyramidal. You see, it's like a hanging bird. And 20 years later, its shape is more just in reverse of the pyramidal shape. And 2050 is almost like a shoulder. And I'm no more in this graph, maybe in the heaven. And but most problem, serious problem is a very small number of babies. We used to be 120 million population. 120万. 1.2 million for male, but now the new baby is accounted as only 0.2 million, 1/6. So I'm very afraid Japan is disappearing in 22nd century from Japan Island. That's very, very I'm very afraid. Back to the current problem. We have a rapid increase of various types of nursing care homes and the headache. In Japan, various types of elderly nursing care homes and elderly housing have been rapidly increasing in the last 2 decades. One of the reasons for the above is that many new facilities were built to accommodate the elderly people who can not enter, even though they want to move in special elderly nursing homes due to the lack of these facilities. Also due to the lack of the finance. As a result, the number of intermediate grade type of elderly nursing, elderly facilities like group homes and common residencies are largely increasing recently. In the context of regulation by fire service law in Japan, buildings are classified according to the type of use and the type of occupants, as well as type of the construction, as in other countries. As some of these care homes and or elderly residential homes are not applicable to designated elderly nursing homes as a target of fire prevention regulations, so they have no more fire protection than ordinary apartment. Group homes was one of these cases until 2007, when the serious fire in group home called the social concern. This slide shows the graph of rapid increase of the number of group homes in Japan from 2000 to up to the 2011. Because the Ministry of Healthcare started some system to build the group homes in Japan. So then that's from 2000. But as you see, it's very steep increase. And now it's 12,000. And also this graph shows a more longer period. The bar chart stands for the number of facilities, healthcare, social welfare facilities, not only group homes, but also many other senior care facilities. It's gradually increasing in this about 50 years, almost a half century. So along to the increase of facilities, the number of fires in the red line, shows the tendency of increase. But in some period, a sudden decline appears. Now, at such period, it's always there is some regulation change, a retrospective application of automatic fire alarm system to this system. So then it suddenly decline. Again, this decline caused by the expanded application of automatic fire alarm system to the facilities that exceed 300 square meters to 0, which means regardless size, every fire facilities, even very small, has to have automatic fire alarm system now. And I want to show some example of various types of nursing homes, such as group homes in Japan. This is quite good one. A reinforced concrete building and the ground floor and the second floor, first and second used for the group homes. And this is a typical group homes design. The second story, the nicely designed. It's one of the best one. Also, this one is also a nice one. There's a room inside the room. And outside, it's very unique in Japan. Very good group of homes have the outside exterior balconies where the resident can directly get out from the room. Not only in the inside, but also there are two alternative exit routes. Yeah, they're very nice, but also the government allows the conversion from old houses to a group home. This is a typical old wooden two-story house. You haven't this kind of house, but it's very typical one. And this level is not low. It's very mid-class. It's really Japanese, okay? And inside, they have, of course, bed, but corridor is very narrow. Corridor is very narrow because it used to be a house. So there are also many this kind of gray type intermediate group homes in Japan. That causes some problem. One of those is a fire. In Nagasaki in 2006, 7 out of 9 senile residents in group home were killed and 2 were injured, hospitalized. There was only one staff at the fire at night, and there was no fire alarm system, no automatic notification system, and no sprinkler system, only with a portable fire extinguisher. The fire started around the sofa in the living room at 2 a.m. in the midnight. The fire and smoke expanded to the corridor and the private rooms in a short time. The only one staff who was responsible to take care of 9 senior residents, but she's not fire protection engineer at all. She tried to suppress the fire, but failed, and they had no time remained to rescue the aged senior people. This map shows that the situation. Fire occurred in the living room, the common living room, from the sofa. Maybe some senior people put a fire, maybe. But it's not specified. But when this person found the fire in the midnight, she tried to suppress with a fire extinguisher, but failed. So then the fire is quickly grown up, and she decided to get out without any help to the residents. And outside, she make a call to 119, the emergency call to fire station. But this is located in the very suburban area. So fire brigade arrived maybe 10 or 15 minutes later. So then, these people are still keeping in the room. And the orange colors stand for the dead people, and the green color are rescued by the fire brigade from windows, but these 2 people are hospitalized. So please imagine, this person is living together in the night, but she is responsible for taking care of the senior older people, not fire protection manager. She doesn't know how to fight against fire, how to rescue people. And even if you fail to suppress a fire in the very small nursing home, could you save all residents like this? Someone cannot work by themselves. So it is impossible for one staff to save every 9 people to get out from the facilities in the progress to fire. And also, we have several fatal fires in small elderly nursing group home during recent years from 2000. So I don't explain in detail to each fires, but each fire has within 9 or 10 residents. 7 died, 2 died, 10 dies, 7 died, 5 dies. It's a very high percentage of death, fatality victims. So then, the Japanese government revised the requirement to small nursing care homes after the review of several of these kind of fatal fires since June 2007. New requirements. First, portable extinguisher is required to all nursing homes regardless the size of facility by 2008. It used to be required when the floor area exceeds 150 square meters. Automatic fire alarm system is required to all nursing homes regardless the size by 2010. It used to be required when floor areas exceed 300 square meters. Automatic reporting system to fire station is required to all nursing homes regardless of size, again by 2010. It used to be above 500 square meters. Automatic reporting system is if fire alarm sense the fire, even though you don't put the button, this signal is automatically goes to fire station. So you don't need to put and taking a fire extinguisher and just the device automatic sense and automatically send the signal to fire station. Sprinkler system is required to all nursing homes regardless of size now. By March 2018, next year. But the residential sprinkler system is allowable if size is smaller than the 1,000 square meters in floor. This used to be required when floor area exceeds 1,000 square meters. And also, I did the comparison analysis of fire risk in different type of welfare facilities and residential homes. As of 2010, the population of aged 65 and older is 29 million people in Japan, which is 23%, almost one-fourth out of the total population. It's very big. I belong to this group already, 4 years ago. But where are these people staying or living in Japan? Hospital, nursing care homes, group homes, and other intermediate type of residential facilities, and usual ordinary houses. As you see, old ladies sit on the kotatsu in Japanese very old classic heating device with futon. It's a very typical scene now in local area and even in center of Tokyo. Ladies are likely to live longer, so they live alone, even though the 80s, 90s. How much percentage are they? In hospital, 3.6%. Nursing care homes, 5.2%. Group homes is quite new, so 0.4%. And 91% of all aged 65 or older still live in their own houses. Many of those live alone. That's the actual situation that we have in Japan. Then I did comparison analysis among these kind of facilities. These blue color part is hospital and especially elderly nursing homes like healthcare facilities. The yellow color part is usual residential houses from wooden single dwellings, fire resistive single dwellings, wooden apartments, fire resistive apartments. It's a concrete constructed apartments. So this shows the rate of fire fatalities and fire injured per person. So as the group home, for the population is very small, so then their ratio is not so high. To compare with wooden apartments is outstanding in terms of the rate of fire fatalities per person. In general, the usual houses are much more high risk of fire fatalities per person. If you want to survive in fire, you must go to hospital because it's a much lower high risk. However, if we compare the rate of fire fatalities and fire injured per incident, so group homes now is outstanding among these groups. And for healthcare facilities and the usual residency is almost similar, but only the group homes is very outstanding in these rates. Because once, as I told before in some example of the fire, usually group home in Japan, one staff take care of 9 senior persons at night. If there are 2 groups, so 2 staff take care of 18 people at night. So now 9 to 1, it is impossible for him or her to save the 9 people in the fire at night. So that is a result. Once a fire breaks out, fire risk stands out in group homes. Summary 1. In terms of fire death rate per person, social welfare facilities are very low to compare with common residential houses and or residential type of senior houses. The living condition in group homes for the demented elderly persons may be similar to the residences in configuration, so the fire risk is relatively high among nursing care homes and healthcare facilities. In terms of both rates of fire fatalities and the injured person, fire risk was the highest in the wooden apartments, which is very typical in Japan. You don't have such a kind of house in Brazil. However, in terms of both rate of fire fatalities and injured of aged people per incident, fire risk stands out in group homes due to the poor condition and compared to others. Due to the further increasing number of aged populations and corresponding needs of facilities with the care to these people, we should expect a growing number of intermediate grade type of nursing care homes with insufficient fire protection for the future. Since the number of staff is limited, especially in the night, the fire protection heavily dependent on the human responses, such as guiding and helping evacuees, is not enough for saving occupants in fire in these nursing care homes. Therefore, automatic fire protection systems such as sprinkler systems and the automatic notification system as well as automatic fire alarm system are essential in the above facility. So then government decided to change of regulation as I explained before. The current situation of installation of fire protection systems in group homes as of March 2010, it's rather old data. Sprinklers, it's only for group homes, about 10,000 facilities at a time. Blue color stands for already installed. Brown color stands for installed by March 11. So then nowadays maybe 60% or more has a sprinkler system, even in small group homes in Japan. Notification system to fire brigade is already reaching to 90%. Automatic fire alarm system is already over 90%, and the fire extinguisher, of course, the 100%. This is the status, current status in Japanese group homes. Then I changed my talk slightly to the fire statistics aspect. Meanwhile, what has the fire statistics demonstrated in recent years regarding fire risk in residential fires? Is the number of residential fires increasing? Is the number of fire deaths increasing? What kind of fire cause has increased or decreased? Is the fire risk in some aspect increasing? What are the problems and issues on fire risk for the highly aged society? How should or can we cope with these issues? this slide shows the number of fire deaths per 1 million. It's not 1 million, 0.1 million. Thousand, zero, 1,000. 1 million, 1 million. Well, so 1 million. Number of fire deaths per 1 million people by age group in 2013. So as you see very clearly, higher age has a higher fire death rate, especially the over 76 or over 81. And in Japan, it's very unique in Japan. Other countries, US or UK or maybe in Brazil, the very small kids have quite high fire risk to compare with the middle age. But in Japan, it is very low, very low. Even the 0.025 and up to the 20 years old, almost zero risk. It's very unique and a very good thing in Japan. But now we should focus on the age group. So if we have this fire death rate by age group and to combining to this increasing ratio of aged population in the future, total population is inclined, but the absolute number of aged people still increases up to 2040. So if these two tendencies combine together, there must be increasing number of fire deaths, of course. And I really estimated the increase when I started this study in 1980. Not now, 1980. It's almost 40 years ago I realized some kind of question. I have some kind of question. It really monotonously increasing or not? So then, based on the data at that time, around 1980, with fire statistic and fire death rate per population, and if nothing will be done in terms of fire protection, and the population ratio is changing to be older, the number of fire deaths will be naturally increasing along with this curve. It's estimate from about 1,000 to about 2,000. It's double. It will be doubled in 2010. The blue line curve stands for just half of this orange color. However, the solid black line stands for actual transition of the fire deaths, a number of fire deaths. So you can see it's slightly going up. It looks like increasing, but actually it's reaching to the half of the estimate number of fire deaths rate in the near future. But the bureaucrat in the government, the Fire Defense Agency, they are almost not engineering based. They are almost low and economic. They cannot understand fire statistics. They always ask us why our record is increasing. But I try to persuade them, no. It's in terms of the fire death rate per population, in reality is declining. Otherwise, the total number of fire deaths must increasing along to this line. So then, it coming to the half of the estimated number. I introduce you the very interesting graph, two graphs. This slide shows absolute trends of absolute number of structure fire deaths by age group. Okay. You can see only 5 and under young kids are declining or during these 30 years. But 65 to 74 is increasing. 75 and over is very rapidly increasing. 5 to 64 intermediate age group is slightly increasing, but looks like a flat. This shows the absolute number of fire deaths. However, if we look at trend of fire deaths rate, this time is 100,000 population by age group. All group now, the death rate in all group has been declining during these 30 years. 5 to 64 is just flat. It's a very slight decrease. 5 and under 75 decrease. And 65 to 74, younger old generation has declining by 44%, and 75 over 47% decrease by half. So you understand. This trend is very constant declining. Our Japanese Fire Defense Agency required all residential homes to install smoke detectors in the living room and in the stair room. But it started only from 2008. So declining trend has not come from the requirement of smoke detectors in homes. There must be many other factors for the declining of the fire death rate of older people. Not only older people, but also the very young kids. I want to show you the very recent trend of fire statistics for residential houses for fires. During these 10 years, monotonous decrease. You can see the monotonous decrease by 35%. Only 10 years. It's very monotonous decrease, not zigzag. It's been amazing. Also, the transition of fire deaths in total and fire deaths of old people. The lower line shows for the number of fire deaths for older people, but it seems like a constant, not increasing. But in total, the number of fire deaths is actually obviously declining in these 10 years. And this slide shows the transition of fires by cause of fire. It's not obvious difference among the causes, but I want to show you more in detail in the top one, cooking stove fires. It's most typical fires in home. Maybe in Brazil the same. This slide shows the transition of cooking stove fires and the diffusion ratio of SI sensor. I omit the explanation of the SI sensor, but it's a safe device to control fire equipped with gas cooking stoves. The regulation that requires safe devices to gas cooking stove started in 2008, red bar chart. Then you can see again very monotonous declining during these only 8 years by I think it's maybe 40% decrease only these 8 years. As for the cooking stove fires in Japan, it's very, very big success. And you can see, I don't know the Brazilian cook in homes so often or not, but in Japan, especially the housewives kindly cook for us. And they always use the gas stoves. It's very popular to use gas stoves in Japan. And usual cooking apparatus is the three grills. And sometimes it's a smaller size, middle size, and a big heat release rate. Nowadays, every grill has to have heat sensor on the center, heat sensor. So if the heat sensor senses some high temperature, this automatically shut off the gas. So Japanese people really fond of having a tempura. There are so many tempura fire before, but nowadays there are very big decrease of tempura fire now due to the popularization of these devices. Fire can be controlled if you find the accurate reason of the fire cause. So, and if some change of regulation is done, honestly, the number of fires is getting decreasing. It is one of very good example of the fire prevention measures. There must be some more factors other than the usual fire protection equipment that work for reducing fire risk. What are the probable factors? This slide shows some effect of installation of fire alarm system in homes. For wood single houses, if smoke detectors is installed and activated, is about 40% decrease from the no fire alarm system. Wood apartments have 44.7 decrease, and fire-resistant apartments of 58% decrease. So naturally, the smoke detectors is fairly effective to reduce the fires. And also, conversion of heating equipment and energy use from wood clip or coals to kerosene heaters in 1960s in Japan, and gas heaters in 1982 up to still now. But nowadays, new apartment houses and new homes have air conditioning system, no fire at all, no flames. This also very contribute to reduce the fires. And this, you already see that. And also, dwelling types by construction and apartment on the single house also makes a very big difference among them. It's divided by the age group. So basically, the fire death rate is changing by age group, under 15, 16, 17. As you already know, that 75 or over has a very highest fire death rate to compare with the younger generation. However, among the same group, the fire death rate is very changed with where they live. Where they live in what kind of type of houses. So fire-resistant houses or apartment is lowest among 75 and over. But even 65, 74 ages, if they live in the wood apartment, they are highest to other three groups in 75 older. So if you want have a lower risk in fire, you have to move to the apartment houses from old wooden apartments. And also, it's very unique. can I have a few minutes to end? Physical fitness in normal walking speed of elderly has been improved in recent years in Japan. There are some doctors investigated this data. Male, you can see it. Male and female. Yellow bar chart stands for the data for 1992, and the blue bar chart stands for 2002. The 10 years difference between two bar charts. However, even in only 10 years, the walking speed in for you please look at the male case. Walking speed in 75, 79, 10 years older than the 56 to 65 to 69 is the same. I want to tell you. This level is same as this level. You see? And so 2002, 75 years or more has same function, mobility to the 10 years younger. Many other graphs shows that kind of situation. So then, nowadays, Japanese old people are not likely to become aged. They're not very slowly aging. And they keep very good function in the physical condition. Because nowadays, in daytime, fitness club and near the station, all occupied by these people. And the young people do not want to go to in daytime because there are many old people already in gym. So it is really true. My friends, many of my friends go to the. So I finished. Sorry. Various factors that would work for reducing the risk of cause of residential fires. Popularization of smoke detectors and the fire retardant furnitures, of course. A decrease of smoking population together with less matches and lighters for an open flame inside the residential homes. Popularization of safer heating and cooking apparatuses, improvement health and physical conditions of aging people. Safe and comfortable environment of residential homes and improvement fire safety management in nursing care homes and others. Okay, I skipped this one. Thank you. Obrigado and arigato.